A man is kissing his mistress when his woman calls. When she finds him, she says she had a big surprise for him. He asks her if something had happened and she says he was going to be a father. He is then surprised and she says it was the truth. She then says that she was waiting for more excitement from the man and that now he could tell his parents that they were going to have a baby. He then tells her that he was very happy and asks her what she thought about telling her whole family. Later, the mistress was taking out the garbage and the man runs after her. He asks what was happening to her and that it wasn't his fault. The mistress then says she was mad at him. She says that now she could see that she was just a diversion to the man. The mistress then says that the man had said that he would leave his wife and that he had promised that he would get her out of this life of employment and that she would no longer need to work in her life. The man then tells her that he didn't know his wife could get pregnant, but the mistress says that it was too late now. At that moment, the woman begins to overhear their conversation. He then tells her not to think that way. He says that for him, nothing had changed between the two of them, he still wanted to marry her. The mistress then says that with each passing day, it gets harder for the two of them to be together. She tells him that she loves him and that she wanted to marry him, but since the woman was pregnant, everything would be more difficult. He tells her to think that this was just a small problem that the two of them had to face together. The man then kisses her and tells her that she was the only one for him and that he loved her. The woman then goes to her room and wonders how she couldn't figure it out sooner. She says she thought he loved her, but he actually liked someone else. The man then enters his house and calls for his wife. He starts telling her to come soon because she had hurt herself badly. He then proceeds to wrap a fishing line around a vase while he asks his wife to call an ambulance. The woman then asks what had happened to him and goes to him to see what it was. He then lies down on the ground and continues to ask for his wife's help. She starts looking for him and asks where he was. She got to where the man was, but she didn't see the wire he had put there. She then trips over the wire and ends up falling and hitting her head. He then begins to call for the woman, but at that moment the mistress arrives and sees her lying on the floor. The mistress asks what had happened there and the man says that he thought she had died. She then starts laughing and says that the woman was still alive. The man then says that they had better finish the job soon, but the woman wakes up and is desperate for her son. She tells the man to call the ambulance for her. She then yells at the two of them and tells them to call soon. The man then says he would call an ambulance to help her. The man then pulls out his phone and calls 911. Sometime later, the mistress enters the woman's room and asks how she was doing. The woman says that she had been badly injured in the fall, but that her son was fine. The mistress says she was happy that the woman's son was okay and says that she had brought him a glass of water. She then says that she had some business to attend to, but that she would be back soon. The woman says that she was very weak and that the glass had fallen from her mother. She then tells her mistress to clean the floor and that she was supposed to bring her something to eat. While the maid was cleaning the house, the man walks up to her, then hugs her tighter. The maid says she didn't want that anymore. She said she couldn't stand that situation anymore and asked him to stop, but he says he had already told her. She said that he didn't care about the woman. He said that now they could enjoy it, as the woman couldn't get out of bed. He then tries to kiss her, but she says that she didn't want that situation anymore and that she should solve it. He then says that he had already said that he didn't like his wife anymore and that he regretted marrying her very much. She then says that as long as the woman was in that house, they would never have anything, but the man says that he wanted to stay with the maid. Later, the mistress enters the woman's room and tells her that she had prepared another breakfast for her. The woman then says that it wasn't good enough and that she had lost her appetite. She then tells her mistress to bring her a cup of low-sugar coffee and tells her to learn how to do something right. The mistress then storms away. Later, she comes back with a cup of coffee. She hands it to the woman. The woman then thanks her and asks about her husband. The mistress says he was probably in her office, but the woman says he hadn't come to see her yet. The woman then says that the coffee was really bad and throws the coffee at her mistress. The mistress then furiously goes to the kitchen and says that the woman did not know who the owner of that house was. She then says that she would see what she would do with her. The mistress then fills a glass with juice and puts a medicine inside the juice. But what the mistress didn't know was that the woman was seeing everything on the security cameras. She is surprised that her mistress was putting something in her juice. The mistress then tells her that she would learn a lesson. When the mistress was arriving in the room, the woman quickly hid her cell phone. The mistress then hands the juice to the woman. She then asks if the woman didn't have chores to do and she says yes. She then tells the woman to enjoy the juice and leaves. The mistress then goes to the very happy man and he asks what had happened. She says that this was their lucky day, because she had solved their problems. She says that now they could be together. The man then asks what she had done. The mistress says he couldn't know, but if he wanted to say his last words to his wife, he was to hurry up. The man then gets very happy and kisses her. Later, the man enters the woman's room and starts calling out to her. She doesn't answer. He then says that he didn't know if she was listening to him, but that he didn't care. He then says he wanted to say something to her. He says he only married her because he saw a great opportunity in it. He says that at first it wasn't that, but then she got old and flabby, so it was certain that he was only with her, because she had a lot of money. He then says that he and the maid had been together for more than 3 years and that the woman was not to worry about as he would put her money to good use. He then says he was going to celebrate her death and drinks the juice. The man then says that now he would start preparing everything for her funeral, but at that moment he starts to have a stomachache and falls to the ground. The woman sees that and is very happy about it. Later, a policeman was taking the maid to the police station, but she was saying that she had done nothing wrong. The woman then goes to him, telling him that the officer had seen the cameras. She then asks if she could talk to the maid for a moment and the officer says she should be brief. She then proceeds to tell the maid that she hoped the maid would learn that those who did evil to other people also received evil in their lives. The maid tries to apologize to the woman, but the woman tells her that she did not want to hear the maid's apology and that she would have plenty of time to repent during the time she would be in prison. The maid says she had done nothing wrong, but the officer takes her away.